Last time in Star Wars Chronicles, the Prophesied King. Our heroes are now separated thanks to the fact that some were not worthy and some were. Terry, Mikey, and Sierra continue on their path while encountering Darky every so way. However, they manage to escape his sights with tricky ways of evading it by either going transparent or hiding behind trees. Meanwhile, the other group continued down the Pit of Anguish, where they encountered two trials, the first being the Tunnel of Insanity, which all four of them managed to get out of it relatively unscathed. However, the River of Depression proved to be a much greater challenge, and though they almost lost their lives during this encounter, they managed to get out of it alive. Now what stands in their way is just one last trial for the Black Mange Village. At least that's more they can say for the other hero group, which now finally come face to face with the Demented Wizard. Episode 20. Bow at the Entrance. Mikey, Sierra, and Tara stand at the defensive positions as they came face to face with Darky. The wizard himself walks slowly around them to investigate and study their postures.
Michael Starticus, the eldest and only child of Obadias and Morgan Starticus. The only pure-blooded Starticus that still breathes. I'll admit, when I first heard of you, I honestly didn't believe it. But I knew that the prophet was speaking truthfully. And here we are today, meeting at last.
Mike refused to speak as his face went angrier. Terry and Sierra stood in the way of him.
Must I force you out of the way again? Sit down, Terry, and...
Sierra, his younger sister.
Terry looks back as she confidently nods at him. Darky himself seemed somewhat shocked, but he secretly knew something like this.
So he actually did it. Norman tried to get a second heir to his throne. Tell me, how did you escape from his clutches? It took most of what I had to help Terry leave, so it intrigues me to learn how you did it.
Does it matter? The point is we are going to meet our father.
Then do so. Leave Starkus and I alone to our own problems. There's no need for you two to interfere.
I think there's plenty of reason to do so. Terry then looks back at Mikey with a conclusive thought.
He's like me, forced to deal with the problems of our fathers. I know the kind of responsibility that falls on you is hard to handle on your own.
Terry tried to take a step forward, but he was stopped after doing so. Sierra then prepared her own attack from her hand.
If it's a fight you want, it's a fight you get.
Darky gave a sinister laugh.
It seems like one of you isn't willing to fight.
Sierra looks at him confused, while Terry quickly argued to himself.
Dude, now is not the time to do something like this. You're planning to fight him. He won't stand a chance. If you keep holding me back, then you are correct. Either you help or stay neutral. Leave me out of it.
As Terry was going back, Mikey walks up ready to fight. You want me? Then you got me. Darky gave another laugh as he saw him.
Oh, child. I thought you understand what position you're in. These trials of the king you need to complete are supposed to help you be ready for me. Yet here you are, ignoring all of that to fight me.
It's not like you're leaving me with a choice. If you try to run, you'll chase after us. If that's the case, then I'm not going to run. Like my father, I will stand my ground and best you today.
Like your father?
Darky gave him a hearty laugh. This one lasted for a bit as Mikey continued to fill himself with rage.
Do you really know who your father is? Of course not. He's long dead before you had actual thoughts. Let me give you a good idea of who he was. As you already know, Lavin Norman, or as you know him as the Shadow King, is one of the most despicable people I've ever had the displeasure of meeting. His rule is nothing but constant search for his own type of power, and that selfishness has led him to make sins that no sane person would do. He used his power to force up relationships so that he can get his own perfect heir. And this is what he got.
He points over to Terry.
Long story short, since I assume Terrence gave you the details, but that was the last straw that broke the camel's back. I had exiled myself away from this place, in search of a better kingdom. But each king in this goddamn universe was one the same, using the power they had to abuse it and gain more power for their own future. And your father was no different.
Mikey looked with disbelief. That's not true at all. My father made the best decision for his own kingdom.
Do you honestly believe that? Or are those lies fed by your mother and that biker?
Mikey wasn't able to answer.
With each one being as despicable as the last, I couldn't handle it anymore. It was also important to know that I'm a man who pursues absolute truth. It's what led me here, and that's the very thing that drives me. And the absolute truth is that royalty is a false leadership. Yet because of the damage those leaders made, even magic will convince these people what they believe in is a path of deceit. That's why I learned the only way to fix this is by wiping the slate clean. No more royals. That even includes you, Michael.
Mikey heard enough as he went for a sword beam. It connected, sending the wizard flying back in pain. Stop it. You don't know anything about me. How could you stand there and say something like that? Darky then cast a spell to heal himself while getting back up.
So what you're saying that you actually agree with me?
Don't be ridiculous. You took Sarvania not just from me, but from the people who live there. What kind of king would I be if I let them down by agreeing with you? Darky didn't quite understand where he was coming from, but that didn't stop him from bringing out his staff in preparation. As the fight was beginning to happen, the other group consisting of David, Cody, Sword, and the Antes were faintly seeing light from a distance. Yo guys, I think we're close to an exit. Cody rushed over to get a better look. Hey, hold up, don't get too far ahead. Sword took a sigh of relief.
I think we somehow dodged the last challenge. I'll be honest when I said I didn't think we stood a chance.
Speak for yourself. I would have been able to accomplish it with flying colors.
They didn't hear Cody stop as he came closer. When they did, it wasn't too hard to find out why he stopped.
Now what? Do we have to watch some of the most horrible acts a man has ever done?
I'm not sure if that is what the sign means. They look over to see the thing he was referring to, which said Arena of Rage. All of them seemed surprised was fact. You mean to tell me the thing worse than oppression is anger?
With some rages, maybe not, but there is a particular rage that goes beyond any emotion one can have.
Look over to see the black mage walk up to them.
You impress me. Only a handful of people are able to cross the river. Yet, with this last one, I have to warn you that only 3 groups of people, with the most being 3, were able to cross the arena.
What kind of rage is it? Does it have to do with petty tantrums?
I wouldn't take this trial lightly. Being angry with yourself is one thing. Angry to the ones you care about is another. In there, you will experience the highest amount of rage any person could exhibit. It will cause you to kill each other before you end up killing yourself. Think about it in terms of the last 2 trials combined. And it doesn't matter if you have the closest of bonds. You will want to kill each other. And since you said it's like the last 2, that would even include ourselves. Meaning you can't just rely on your friends to be there, to hold your hand.
This made all but Anto upset.
Interesting. What kind of spell will you use?
The black mage looked over at him angrily.
We know you have those watches, Anti-Francisco. If you think you can merely use your watch to stop time and cause the magic to not activate, then you fail to realize your full capabilities. If you came to us 3 million years ago, you might have had a point, but none of us here were even thought of during those times.
Yet, that still means I can do it.
Anto looks back to the others confidently.
Fear not. My watches are beyond magic. All you need to do is stay close to me as I activate it. And we'll just mosey on in and cross with no problems.
The black mage rolled his eyes after hearing that.
If that's how it's going to be, then let's do the trial like this.
The black mage set his fingers to take all the weapons away. He then steps to the side as he looks annoyed at Anto.
Since the last 2 were a piece of cake for you, then the last one shouldn't be that much harder.
Anto gave back his own as he walked in.
Now for the rest of you.
They nodded as they huddled together. Okay, Anto just made this easier by eliminating other possibilities of harm. We still need a proper plan to get by.
I got nothing. At least with the river, we were there for each other. How do we stop each other from killing one another?
Cody walked back and forth to think until he came to a thought. It's actually quite simple. In fact, the river posed a greater challenge.
What do you mean?
Cody looks back at them smugged. Thanks to Anto, the only thing that could possibly kill us are our own hands, as previously mentioned. This will lead to my next point. Cody then turns to the mage. May we please have one request? You can do whatever you wish to Anto, but we don't solely rely on his actions.
I suppose it's fair, but just one.
Can you cast a spell to have our hands tied behind our backs tightly? Sora and David gave him a shocked look.
How would that help? You're just making it harder on us.
Not necessarily. The black mage accepted and did just that.
Great. Now what, genius?
Now the ability of all possibilities of self-harm is gone, assuming there's nothing in the arena. All I gotta do is go one at a time. The idea finally clicked with them.
I get it. Then, who should go first?
Cody didn't hesitate as he went into the arena easily.
I assume you would like your hands freed by the end of the trial, should you survive.
Correct. See all of you on your side. Wait a few seconds before the next one goes. Do the same for the other. Cody walks in, and they hear him fuming at the mouth with constant rage live from the other side.
So it hits you and the instant you get in there. Neat.
The way it is instructed, this time Sora agreed to go next.
I suppose now is a good time as any.
The black mage stepped aside to let her pass, and she did slowly. She gets inside to see the spacious arena with nothing of note. From a distance was Cody, who was fighting to get his hands freed, yet it was to no avail as he finally crossed the arena. Sora sighed in relief after seeing him succeed. With one more step, she felt the angry thoughts flood her mind. This caused her to lash out with insults and random nonsense as she struggled across the path. This went on for 2 minutes, but she successfully crossed the arena despite her struggles. As she takes her final step, the thoughts go away as the rope around her does the same. Going to the door in front of her, she looks back out to see the opening from the cave.
Cody was right. That was so simple.
Before she continues, however, she hears a sinister voice from her right.
Don't move.
She looks around to see Cody's helmet off, as well as Anto strangling him while pointing a laser gun to his head.
I must congratulate you on your success. Yet, as the term stated before, our temporary alliance ends here.
Sora sighed in annoyance.
I should have known you would pull a fast one.
She looks over to Cody for input. He surprised me. I didn't even see him coming. The door opened to have David come out with his flame bow ready.
Your plan worked without a hitch, Bird.
Unfortunately, you forgot about our sleazy acquaintance. Anto then gave a playful gesture.
Come on, did you really have to do me like that? We only said it would be temporary. The Black Mage did say that beyond the entrance is the village. And only one of us is going there.
Sora got into the stance herself.
He was even so kind as to get back all my watches. Now we are even in this fight.
Cody laughed as he struggled. I wouldn't say even. He didn't elbow his Anto hard to get away from him. David and Sora fired their powerful attacks to try and beat him, but Anto stopped time before that landed.
That was too close. Fortunately, time is always on my side.
He steps aside as time restores.
Of course, forgot about that stupid time watch.
Anto holds up his robotic arm confidently.
I learned about my mistakes from last time. I wonder what your plan is now.
He didn't feel the blast hit him from behind as Sora lay attack connects.
It seems he also forgot about my ability.
Sora and Cody high-five with the attack landing. 3-on-1 isn't your style, mate. Anto gets up angrily as he recovers from that attack. He activates his shield and watch while growling.
How dare you!
Rush over to her with his robotic arm ready to attack. He lands a hit as well as 3 watches lit up with his punch. This caused Sora's body to punch back to a weird space-like thing.
What the hell is this?
She comes back with a shocked expression. Anto also took notice of this as he looked over to his watches.
What did I do to you? Explain!
As he was trying to figure it out, he didn't see David's phoenix hit the ceiling above him as well as Cody rushing and saving Sora as they ran away. Quickly, while he's distracted! He was still trying to figure it out as the ceiling around him collapsed. As it did, the group headed out of the cave to see the night sky. Thank God that's all over. Right, Sora? She didn't respond. They both turned to her with confusion. What happened back there? Sora turned back to him confused.
When Hanzo punched me, I felt like I went to space or something like that. I'm not sure how to describe it. Kind of like an out-of-body experience or something.
David puts his hand on her shoulder for support. We'll figure it out later. Right now we need to keep moving. That ceiling won't hold him for long. She nodded as they continued to run away. During this time, Anti-Tim was searching through the rumble to try and find him. After a bit, he digs Anto out of the pile.
There you are, sir. Another unfortunate failure, it seems.
Anto still seems stunned as he looked at his 3 watches. He then takes off all of them with thoughts racing through his mind.
I think these watches have more power than we realize. In fact, I doubt I even scratched the surface on what these things can do.
He turns his back to him gleefully.
I think we're on the cusp of something extraordinary. Come, my partner. We must explore these capabilities for our next attack.
Anto runs off excited.
And I'll bring the cookies like always. Wait for me, sir.
Now we finally head back to Mikey and Darky's fight as Sierra and Sierra try to find an opening.
What's your first move, Your Highness? Is it the sword beam? Cosmic is a powerful ability.
Mikey didn't hesitate as he used his sword beam to reach up to him. He was up as Darky stopped him in place.
Direct attack. Do you royals always follow the same strategy?
How about you quit yapping and actually fight?
If you insist.
Darky forces him to the back to the ground and harm. He then casts another spell to summon one attack of each element. This caused Terry to intervene with his change. Terry then used his pro attack in with Hellfire from behind. Direct hit, but Darky was able to withstand the attack. Damn, what spell did he use this time? Darky turns around and looks back at him.
This hurts me greatly, my friend. Emotionally speaking, yet we must crack eggs to make omelets.
Darky casts another spell to summon a beam to hit Terry directly. Darky then felt a light beams hit him from all directions. He looks around to see the transparent Seer attack him.
Can you keep up?
Darky then casts another spell to hold her in place.
Fool, you think your poltergeist will help you. I knew your mother well. Such a sweet lady she was. She even taught me a thing or two when we once sparred.
Darky forced her back to the forest. That left in surprise as Mikey slashed his sword to split his staff in half. There, no more spell casting. Darky dropped it as his hands glowed in purple.
That staff wasn't the source of my power. It helped me control it.
He looks at Mikey innocently as he quickly rushes over to attack him directly. He punches the kid away with vigor. Terry helped Mikey up as Darky walked over. This isn't working. We need a portal out of here. Mikey held him back from doing so. No, we need to fight back. I'm tired from running away. This man hurt my mother. Mikey gets up with his cosmic aura shining brightly around him.
Another round then? Come at me.
Mikey shoots a star beam directly from his hand to hopefully land a blow against his dark rival. It misses Darky swiftly dodge. Terry continued to hold back as if I continued. This is for hurting my family. Mikey hits the wizard hard with multiple slashes. Darky had to take a step back to quickly heal.
I'll admit, you are definitely more determined than your father. There seems to be something a little different about you, but not by a lot.
Mikey hits him again, sending him flying back. Talk shit on my father again, I dare you. Terry continued to hold back as it happened.
Don't believe it. Mikey seems completely different as he fights him. What to do?
He feels Sierra slowly rush up behind him. Pulling his hair back, she gives him a worried look.
What the hell are you doing? Just standing here. There's not going to be that many opportunities to find an opening. Just fight.
I wish I could, but Fury is constantly back. He leaves me frozen in uncertainty as this fight keeps happening. Not only that, but this Mikey seems to be different from the one I met back at the canyon. It's like every time Darky's brought up, he changes to an enraged psychopath.
Okay, that's something to be concerned about, but right now the major concern is trying to fend him off. If you don't help, we all die.
Give me a moment. I need to help this dude get out of his crisis. Sierra scoffed and amused as she ran back to the fight. This lets Terry back into his mind as he sees the conflicted Fury chain their arms. I'm going to need you to let go of me so I can help. I'm not going to let you throw away our lives like that. I don't know why you feel like we should do so. Mikey needs our help. We agreed to do so, remember? So? We are not in the right mind to help. This isn't our back fight to take. Says you. Please let go or I'll force you to. Fury remains silent as he continues to hold back. They see the fight happening outside. Darky and Mikey fought blow to blow with each other with their own varied attacks. They paused for a moment to reassess the situation.
Oh, I haven't felt like this in a long time. Not even your father was capable of this.
How many times do I need to say it? Leave my father alone. Darky scoffed as he caught his breath.
Don't you see? Every time I look at you, I only see your father. You might have more youth, but you're just like him. Growing up to be the next abusive king to be.
That's not how I'm gonna be. You can't assume that.
I don't need to. Destiny has already set that in for you. Fate has decided you to be just as corrupted as the others.
Mikey hits him harder and harder with each swing as Darky talked back. You don't have the right to assume! Darky laughed more as he recovered from the attack.
Okay, so that's how it's gonna be. Fine. I suppose I should tell you who your father really is so you can get an idea.
Darky gets up fully with conviction.
Your father is only but a conniving liar to gain his power. I know your mother has kept the details silent. He was nothing but a greedy man who seeks to make the Star Council more powerful than it already is. The Star Council was set up many years ago to the new law of the universe, but was also supposed to be a simple diplomatic system of law that only kept things in check rather than taking complete power away from the hero. But over time, your father sought to make sure that Starvania and the Star Council leadership became the absolute rule of the universe.
Maya chuckled after hearing that. Now I know you're lying. This is absurd and completely dishonest.
I guess it's fair to mention that he wasn't the one who started it, but he would have been the generation to finish. If it wasn't for my attack and his death, he would have succeeded, making no power in the universe to rival whatever the Star Council was going to turn into. Did you ever wonder why the Second Great War of the Universe lasted for as long as it did, despite the fact that they had more than enough supports in it within a year?
I didn't thought for a moment after hearing that. Harry didn't use his opportunity to strike him hard, sending him flying back in thought. He turns away to charge of his own attack.
Royalty is a disease, and the only cure for it is absolute annihilation. I hope you can see where I'm coming from.
Mikey slowly gets up while in his thoughts. Sierra finally gets over to help him.
What is he going on about?
She looks down to see Mikey unresponsive.
Mikey, are you going to tell me? And why is Terry saying that you aren't yourself?
We now deep into his thoughts for the answer.
Oh my god, I finally get it. I think. Why Dragno acted the way he did. Why Mother always wanted me a king for the people. It all makes sense.
Mikey lets up one last stout. Hold on, who started this chain? Daria looks back at him unsure.
I'll give props to your ancestor, Kevin Sarkis. He at least tried to make a difference. But since his son went back to the tradition like every other royal is, it seems like he was an exception rather than a rule.
It finally clicks.
I see. That means I was wrong about you.
Daria then gave him an interested look. I thought you were some war general who didn't care for anyone or only wanted glory for the Dark Warriors or himself. I thought this agenda of yours was just some ploy to make it seem justifiable. But after hearing my family history and the evidence to prove it, it makes too much sense to be right. Daria then gave him a warm expression.
You're seeing it my way.
He walks closer with his power going away.
At last, maybe you and I can make a difference.
Maybe I will. Mother did say I should be a leader for the people rather than a king. Making the best decision with this interest in mind rather than I.
Creating an unselfish leader, and that's the ticket.
Maiden held his blade up again with his fierce expression. Still, your way of going about it isn't correct. You won't let this slate clean when it doesn't need to be. Not to mention you also tortured my mother. Darian stops her hearing that.
What are you implying?
I'm implying that you have a point. Maiden stabs him through his body. But you're also a murderous bastard. Dark gets up to recover again. This time he seems to be heavily breathing. Your execution's all wrong. I promised made a difference for the kings, to be a leader of the people instead of the other way around. Fury hears him from the mind.
By execution? Do you know how many people promised that at their rise to power? Each and every one of them fall back on that principle to follow their own established one.
Well, maybe I can make that difference. If you give me the chance, I can prove you wrong. Dark refused to listen any further as he got into another stance. Regardless, you still need to pay for your crimes you committed.
You will find that your crimes are much greater than mine.
The band went back into it as Fury and Terry watched from the mind. See, nothing will stop those two from killing each other. No. We need to put an end to this. Fury takes in everything he hears. It doesn't have to be this way. He focuses on Terry while still at thought. The fight raged on as Sierra tried to help out the best way she could, but a previous attack had left her with both her ankles twisted. Darky used some of his spell to block the attacks from the Starblade. And I'll give you credit where credit's due. Your determination is strong. You definitely fight for a purpose. The purpose is to beat you and give Starbania back to her people while making you pay. He kept going at it, but seemingly being equal. Sierra had to step back to recover from her injuries. They eventually back off again and once again reassess the battle. While I would like to throw fists all day, I want to put an end to this madness once and for all. I agree. Not prove I can beat you without completing the trials. Darky gets into an open position. Fine. Take your best swing, then. He fires multiple laser beams from his hand as Mikey charges forward. Mikey was able to block each one or dodge the others he could. Darky tried to fire more, but his foe was closer to him. Getting close enough, Mikey uses his star beam to block his guard off, and gives a barrage of attacks with his sword to hopefully put an end to all of this. This is it. Take the power of all Starkis coming together to best you! Darky tried to withstand, but it became overwhelming. With one last swing, Mikey puts Darky to the ground while also putting his sword back into his scabbard. It's done. I won. Sierra and Terry watch in awe after the battle was over. Maya walks back out, but he failed to feel Darky's presence behind him. For all that making a change talk, you aren't perspective enough to achieve it. Maya seems shocked as he turns around, but he stops as he gets stabbed in the to his side. It wasn't fatal, but it did leave him in a lot of pain. Mikey keels down in pain as he holds his wound. How did you survive? Black magic is more powerful than you realize. You haven't even seen its full potential yet. Nor will you ever, as this will soon be your last breath. As this was happening, Terry was still struggling in his mind to break free out of his chains. Dude, we can have this talk later. We need to help him. Fury still thought to himself. He wants to make a difference. He looks down to himself. Despite all that has happened to him, he still wants to do that. He's been through the same hell we have been. Only he made it better once he realized he doesn't have to make it that way. He gives his fist in determination, which means, back on the outside, Darky went for the final strike, but was stopped by Fury's chain. As he caught Darky's fist, Fury summoned a pole beneath Mikey, sending him away. Darky looks down to see it happen, but he was unable to stop it. As Darky finished, he looked back up angrily at Fury. How dare you? When are you going to learn to not get in my damn way? Sierra looks over to see Fury walk over to Darky a little uncertain. You can shout to the moon and back. I won't listen. She's taking his life into his own hands. About time we do the same. And you think fighting back will do that? Do you even hear yourself? Do you? Spewing the same bullshit thinking anyone will follow your cause. No wonder you exiled yourself. Darky brought back out his powers. As he did, Fury sent Sierra away next. I would watch what you say next very carefully. You do not want me after you. You're lucky I even have a soft spot for you. Otherwise, you would have been long dead. Fury gave an intense look. You don't fear me. Darky gave an amused look. He puts his powers away as he stands there. He walks back and gets his staff, all the while fixing in the process. He gets back up and continues to walk towards him. We can do this the easy way or the hard way. Where did you send that boy? Fury gave an confident smile. Go ahead and read my mind. The thing about the portal is that I have no idea where it spawned. For all I know, it could be in the other side of the world or right next to me. The point is, I'm not going to answer you even if I wanted to. Darky does it so anyway, but learns the demon was right. He swears an anchor while shaking his fist. You better hope I don't see you again. I had that boy right here. He turned back to Fury annoyed. You stay away from me at all cost, or I will kill you. No more holding back. I had enough. He walks back along the path to continue his plan as intended. After he was a reasonable distance away, Fury turned back to Terry while laying out his sigh of relief. He took the bluff. It's a good thing his body operates with two minds. He spawns a portal away from him there to meet back in the cave. He saw Sierra have Mikey rest on the wall. The wound just kept bleeding as Mikey growled in pain. She wrapped around some of his jacket to try and cover the wound.
This should help stabilize it, but we need to get him to professional help.
I know. Right here. I have a quick way to heal him.
Terry begins to walk away, but he is stopped by his sister.
Before you go, what took you so long to help? Our friend was bleeding out while you stood there like a lost boy.
She gives him an eager look. Terry just looks back with a serious expression. Forgive me, but I'm not exactly who you think I am. There's so much going on with me that I end up stopping myself from doing things completely. Remember, there are 2 minds in his body. There's still a lot to think about. Still, I see him at the end, didn't I? I'm gonna make sure he gets what he needs quickly. Keep an eye on him, please. He walks away as Sierra keeps putting pressure on his wound. Meanwhile, the other group kept going down the trail. I can't help but feel like we missed something important. Well, let's hope we didn't miss too much. I doubt the path leading to the village will go on that much longer. Eventually, as they kept going, they hear noises from the distance. Sora hears it and rushes forward to see. She stops to see the sight they all waited for so long. As Dave and Cody catch up, they see a black mage village. It was a small town that only had the wooden houses as well as many different black mages that either converse with each other or practice some sort of black magic. They looked in awe while also a bit disappointed.
For such magical creatures, I was expecting a little bit more.
Agreed. I never heard of this place or its people, yet I'm still let down. Let's just find a stupid king guy and hope the others are here. They stopped as they saw a weird black mage come towards them. He had a red mask, but his body was covered with black armor. Bonjour. You travelers have made it to this magical village. Not very many come here willingly, nor alive. Yet you exceed all odds to make it. Thank you, but why are you greeting us? It would be rather impolite if I didn't. Regardless, my name is Ren, the Shadow King's right-hand man and also the leader of the village. Since you are new here, I would like to make it my job to give you a tour. Any places of interest? Before they answered, Cody pulled David aside to give him a talk. If you think about it, this is a village where Darky came from. Before we meet this Shadow King creature, I think it's best we learn about our ultimate enemy. David hears and agrees. Not a bad idea, let's hope this is quick. They turn around to meet Ren. 2 things. The first being a warning about a guy named Darky coming to kill your king. Ren seems shocked but not understanding. I don't know who this Darky guy is, but we'll make sure that he'll be stopped at all costs. Cody gave his own shocked expression. Wait, you don't know who Darky is? I don't believe I heard that name. And I'm one of the oldest members here.
That makes no sense. Terry said he was a black mage.
You know Terrence? They all gave each other awkward looks. I see. There might be one guy taking consideration about a posse for the bill as Darky. Anywho, what's the second thing? Now would be a way to learn about the guy who was possibly him, as well as to meet the Shadow King. Don't worry, we come in peace. Of course. I read your minds before meeting you after you all. Don't overreact. I didn't say anything beyond your intentions on coming here. It's a black mage thing. In fact, black magic can make you do a lot without an ability. They all blushed flusteredly.
That is very inappropriate.
I have to make sure I can trust you. I see you spar with the king, along with this guy named Mikey. As long as it's a normal fight and not one to death, I see no problem with this. Though it would seem your Mikey friend isn't here yet. Figures. Yet could you still do it? We would like to be ahead of the game here. Of course. I would also assume that you wanted your friend to have a safe patch along the way here, considering the fact that the Darky guy is after him. Yeah, that would be great. Understood. With all that set up, please follow me. This is a Black Mage village. He takes charge as the others soon follow. They look back to see if anyone was coming, but no one was there.
By the way, who exactly is the Shadow King?
Why, that would be the only Lavender Norman, the strongest mage in the universe.